This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, sir.
No. Okay, we are discussing about SOSL in the last session, right? SOSL is a Salesforce object search language uh, used to search across all objects. The objects are may or may not be related to each other, right? You can search against more than one objects, and objects need not be related to each other. And in your query editor, you can search without explicitly mention the object name against which object you are going to search. In the case of your Apex environment, you need to explicitly specify the object name with the keyword returning and comma separated. Okay, so this was the syntax we have seen. Okay, so again some objects here. Okay, right. So if you don't mention any field here, by default it returns ID. It returns ID, and the return type of your SOSL is going to be list of S object. We have discussed about that in the last session. So every objects we may found more than one record match. So every object may return a list of that particular object type, list of contact record, list of lead. So we stored into generic object type list of S object. And if you just refer the object name, we just get ID from that matching record. We just get ID. So ID of the contact where the match is found. Okay, there are two contacts, and there is a one lead, and there is some contact. Employee is found. If you don't find any record match, that will be a null element will be uh, returned in this collection. Right? So to get a result of your account, we need to point the first element of this collection by referring the index. Okay, so to get the contact result, then it is in the first index. So that's how we refer the result. And the result is in the form of generic S object type. So we do a casting it, converting from one type to another type. So list of contact, we store into list of contact. Okay, that's how we process. Right. Back to the field. What type of field I can get in the result? If you don't refer any field, you get only ID. But in the result, you can refer any type of field. Basically, the the search string is going to be search against your name field, email, phone field, right? Where you can search against three type of field: name, phone, email. But in the result, I can get any type of field. So for example, I would like to get account name here. So within a bracket, within a bracket, you can refer the fields here. You will follow this. So this time I got a last name, email. Okay, I given phone number, but phone doesn't have any value, so it's not there in the result. And similarly, last name, email, right? Two contacts I got, and for lead and for employee I got a name. So whatever field you like to retrieve as part of the result, you just refer the field within a bracket with comma separated. Okay, people are good with this, right? Suppose I have um, okay, I take one more employees. So given a salary, excuse employee education. Okay. Right. I got two employees here, right? I had two employees here matching with that the searching text SFDC meet. Right. Now I like to get the employees the result against the employee object. I have a condition only if the salary is greater than say 40,000 and where the the text SFDC meet is found, and among the result I would like to apply the filter condition. Among the result, whatever the result found, I found two records in my employee object, right? I found two results. I found two records in my employee object uh, with the same email ID SFDC meet. But among the result, I would like to apply the filter condition. How did you apply a filter condition in your global search result, right? I can apply filter condition here. I can apply filter condition here, right? To enable filter condition, what you have to do? You have to enable the search layout option search filter. Then the filter condition will appear here. Similarly, here among the search result, I would like to apply the filter condition. How we are going to apply that? So we're going to apply this. Listen here. In my so within the bracket itself, I'm going to apply the filter condition where salary is greater than say 30,000. We'll follow this. So this is what we are going to apply now. Just include the where condition next to the field. I just included the where condition next to the field. Right. So this is how I implement it. Okay. So this time the employee record is only returned uh, return the record which has whose salary is greater than 30,000. Got me? So how to apply a condition, filter condition the search result, and how to refer the fields, record field as part of your result. So within a bracket, you refer the fields. People good with this? Let's take a quick example of Visual Force and Apex. So what I need is I need a search box here where the user will enter the text to be searched and search button here. When I click on a search button, whatever the results we found in the against the object, so those tables will be displayed. The result of the results will be displayed in the form of table, like as you get similar to your global search, similar to the global search, right? So user has to enter the text here. So wherever I found the result, that result should be displayed in the form of table here. Suppose the result is found in account and contact, it should be displayed in the section below. So in your Apex side, we are going to use SOSL. In your Apex, we are going to use SOSL, and on button click, we are going to call a method to search the string. So within the method, we are going to have this SOSL query part. Okay, and this is going to be a search string. This is going to be a search string where you can get the input text into one search string, and that is going to be used here. So we are going to use this here. Suppose this is the SOSL I'm going to use here. Okay, so this is SOSL I'm going to use. I just get rid of everything. Just go with the simple one like this. Right. So this part is going to be a search text. Why I used a colon here? Because every variable you are using, apart from object field in your SOSL or SOQL, is going to follow the similar format. That should be prefixed with a colon. So this is a variable we are going to refer it in your input text here. We will follow this. So an input text that you are going to use to get input from the user. So that search text is nothing but your search text here. So that should be prefixed with a colon. Okay, right. And there is a one more keyword. The syntax as what is that keyword? I said you can search against name, phone, email. You can search against name, phone, email. So what is the syntax basically? Listen the syntax here. So search text, right? Search text returning object name, and you will give a field name like this, and comma separated, again object name, object object name 2, object name 1. That's how it goes. Okay, and there's a one more keyword which is optional. All fields. It means we are going to search against all the type of field. All the type of field. It can be email, phone, or text type. Suppose I have a requirement, search only against email field. I need to search against one email field, not against every field. I need to search against only email field. Listen, how we are going to give that. The optional parameter I can give, okay, in email fields. So basically in is also a keyword. Yeah, in all fields, or else in email fields. Similarly, if you like to search against only the only against only again name field, then in name field. To search against only phone field, in phone fields. Got me? So you can search against particular type, or else all the fields. So that is optional. Okay, by default it search against all fields. If you like to specify only against the email field, you will go with this. If you search against only name field, you do like this. Only phone field, do like this. You will go to this, right? Right. So quickly take an example. So this was I got.
Ranjit sir,
Yes.
can we use search against SOCL?
What your question?
No, no. Can we use search against SOQL, SOCL?
Yeah. You can do that. You can do that, but
Okay,
you cannot search against multiple objects.
okay, all right.
So whatever objects you need, where I can store this stuff. So this is going to be a string. So this string is going to be referred in your input text. Okay, right. So what is the method we are going to call from command button? Okay. So what next? We need to get the result. We need to get the result from here, and whenever the result found, I need to re-render a block. Am I right? When the result is found, I need to re-render a block. So let's page block, page block, page block table. So whatever objects you are searching against. Okay. So that object result I have to refer here. So to get the result of your account, I need to do the get the result from the respective index. Right? Similar way. People follow this. So public list of account. So here I have to store the result, right? What do I have to store? Results dot, the index is 0. So this needs to be typecast. Am I right? List of account. Makes sense to all of you? Am I right? So now this can be displayed here. Like this. But the question is, you get only ID here, right? You get only ID here. So suppose I would like to display here name, a dot name, then the name should be a part of this result. Name. If I need industry, okay. If I need a phone field, so these three fields should be a part of this result. Name, phone, industry. Similarly, wherever you need respective field in the result, that should be explicitly mentioned here. Okay, we could do this. I just go with only few objects. You can enhance this application. You can enhance this application later. So when you will populate the value, only if the result is okay, only if that contains any data. Am I right? Dot size is greater than 0. Will follow this? So only if it has any data, then store the result. Similarly, for your contact, okay, similarly for your contact and for your employee, emp result like this. So here, I just go with only three objects. So we're talking about employees, emp result now. So there is a emp result index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Index 4. Okay. And the object is employee. Okay, so I got the result. So now, okay, I got the table for uh, the contact account. So now for contact, last name, and phone number. If we go to this phone number. Similarly for your okay, we go with a different block. So there is a block for account, there is a block for contact. So let me include one more block for emp result. Okay. So each one of these have ID. So this is the one I'm going to re-render. How to re-render multiple blocks? With a comma separator. So this is what I got. This is the result I got. Okay, right. So now before I search, the blocks are rendered. Before I search, the blocks are rendered. But I would like to search only. I like to show the blocks only if the result is found. Render the block. Now the empty block is found, right? So how to add the title for the block? Title account. So get like this. similar to this. So I need to bring the bracket, the result, total number of records found. How to get this? Like this. Okay. And how to get the total number of records here? Um, if the result is found, then okay, I can also do like this. Dot size. Okay, and right. Within constructor, you need to allocate a memory. Why you are allocating memory within constructor here for this variable? Because when the page is loaded, that will look for the variable here. If the variable is null, then it will give an error. Okay. Okay. Now it is zero. Okay. When the result is found, you will see the count will be replaced. So similarly for your count results. Okay. So similarly in the title. So this is not just one approach, we have multiple approach. We can enhance this application to exactly same way as it behaves like this. Okay. So I get a result like this, but still this block is visible even though it doesn't found any result. So what you're going to do, I can render the block only if it has any result. Render the block only if it has any result. Okay. Right before this. So let's see. I'll go with the output panel. Why you go for output panel? To group all the result. I'm going to render the output panel instead of individual block. I'm going to render the output panel instead of individual block. I don't need this ID now. Okay, I'm going to render only the output panel now. Yes, it's okay. And then render this block only if the size is greater than 0. Okay, so we know like the boolean, it's a boolean value. You got it? So only if it is greater than 0, then render the block. So you might have guessed it, what we are going to do. So we are going to render every block only if it has any data. Similarly, okay, there is a problem here. Render 0. Okay. Uh, it should be the block. Okay. Searching the, how can you? It's only you search. Only if you search, you come to know, right? It's only if you search, only you come to know. Okay, else you will not come to know, right? Only if the search, you do the search, then you'll come to know that. Okay.
Yeah, sir, Ranjit sir, I'm asking this way. Suppose I don't have any search field, but I don't need to perform any search actually. But otherwise, I need to display some error message like there is no search. Yeah, how can I
You have to,
implement that?
you have to make, see, you have to make it at the, uh,
It is JavaScript validation.
oh, is this, it's not equal to empty, then do the search, right? Else, you know how to throw the error message, all of you. You can do that, am I right? Don't search anything. You need to,
ID at A16 plus 16.
you can display like this, right? You can display like this. Okay, see, for this one we can use a flag variable. Okay, you can try implementing a flag variable. Turn that flag variable to true or false. Instead of going with the rendered, you can also go with the flag variable. This is what I'm trying to say. So once the result is found, once the result is found, we make this flag equal to true. We make the flag equal to true. Similarly, This way you can, this enhanced application is, you can take it to any level. Okay, just for an example, we have seen this, how to search using SOSL. Okay, but enhancement you can do it in any form. So we need not spend time on enhancing this application right now. Our objective is to know how to search against multiple objects. Okay, so take from here, try to enhance this the way you want. We will go to this.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now we'll move on to a new topic. The new topic, email services. Okay, so Apex email services. So how to send email? There are two types of uh, sending email types we are going to see. One is inbound and another is outbound email service. One is inbound, another is outbound. When you say inbound, it means Apex receives the email. Okay, Apex would receive email from external users, from external system or external users, and process the email content. That process can be anything like create a case record, okay, create a lead, etc. So it is up to us. How do you process that email content? We can refer the email, whatever email you received in your Apex. Okay, whatever email you received in your Apex, you can process the to address, from address. You can get the attachment of the email. So every process, every process, the content of the email you can process. And from the content of the email, it can be a to address, from address, body of the email, or attachments that user send, attach any document in the email. So those attachment can also be read from the email, and you can it's your Apex. So you write a business logic to do any process, any logic can perform, you can perform against that email content. Okay, an example like if a customer send email to support at a capitaininfo.com, for example. So this is a support email ID, and user send email to this ID. So what I'm going to do, once the email is received to this email ID, I'm going to process the email content. Okay, I'm going to get the subject and the body of the email. I'm going to get the subject and body of the email, and the from address. I'm going to get all this content, and then what I'm going to do. So these things will process in Apex basically. So whatever I mentioned here, this will be processed in Apex. So in the Apex, I'm going to create a case record. So when you create the case record, the subject of the email will go to the subject of the case. The body will go to the description, and the from address, right? From the from address, I take the email ID. From the from address from which, okay, the user who has sent this email. So I can able to get the from address of the email. Okay, using the from address, I will do a search against contact object. If the search is found, then I'm going to create the case record for that contact. So these things I can able to process in the Apex environment. When customers send email to support email ID. Okay, so these things we are going to discuss how to do this. Similarly, your outbound is nothing but from the Apex send email from Apex. There's nothing but they're going to send email from the Apex. So that email is called outbound email service, and this one is called inbound email service. There are two ways you process the email. One, you receive the email in the Apex. Another, you are going to send email from the Apex. Okay, so when you are going to send email, what you will do? You will set the to address within your Apex. Okay, and you will whatever the parameters is required to send email, whatever the value is required to send email, maybe you will give the subject, the body, and you will also attach. You can also do some attachment also. Okay, I have a requirement where one of the PDF output I would like to make it as a PDF. One of the Visualforce output I would like to attach in the form of attachment. Okay, I would like to attach the salary slip of the employee. Okay, the salary slip of the employee in the form of PDF. Okay, for the current month, right? And in the subject I mentioned like okay, the month of the salary in the month of for the month of December, and in the body I mentioned like, okay, so some content, and the to address I would like to mention the email ID of employee. So this is nothing but your outbound email, and this is your inbound email. Will follow this? So this is what we are going to see now. Okay, right. To save the time, I just go with the okay, the predefined notes, so that we can save some time. I just at least walk through today. I'll walk through the things today, then we'll discuss much more detail later. Okay, right. Okay, so when you go for inbound email service, how the Apex will process the email when email sent to this email ID, how the Apex is going to process this email. Okay, so in the inbound email service, to implement this, we need to follow certain step. Implementation of inbound email. Okay, pay attention here. So how to implement this inbound email service? What is the purpose of inbound email service? We get email to one defined email ID. When the email is received to this ID, automatically an Apex code will be executed. So it's going to be an automated process. It's going to be an automated process. What needs to be done, that you will return as a developer, you will return inside the Apex code. Okay, but which Apex code will execute, when that will execute, so those are the steps we are going to learn now. What is the implementation? Okay, implementation, how do you implement inbound email? Okay, first thing, we are going to create a class. First thing, we are going to create a class. The class is going to implement a standard interface called messaging.inbound email handler. So this is an interface name. So how do you implement the interface in a class? By using implement keyword. Implements. This is your class name. Any class name you give. That class going to implement messaging.inbound email handler. Okay, so the interface belongs to the namespace messaging. Okay, interface belongs to the namespace messaging. What is the interface name? Inbound email handler. Okay, so inbound email handler is the first step. We are going to create a class by implementing this interface. implements messaging dot inbound email handler. So this is a interface you have to implement. So what is the rule of the interface? The interface will have a method with only signature, right? So that method implementation must be done in the class which implements that interface. So what is that method? The method is nothing but handle inbound email. The method is nothing but messaging dot handle email. So this is a method. Handle inbound email is a method we are going to implement. The method has a two argument. The method has a two argument. So these are all predefined framework. Okay. The method has an argument inbound email. The method has an argument of class object object of the class type inbound email. Again one more object messaging dot inbound envelope. Okay, see this is an interface which has a method, and the method also has a return type as well. Okay, the return type is going to be inbound email result. So the return type is inbound email result, and the method has a two argument. One is nothing but an object of class inbound email, and another object is of class inbound email envelope, right? So what is the use of these objects? So whenever the customer send email, whenever users send email to the the email ID, support email ID, this class will execute automatically. Why this class is being executed? Because the class is implementing the interface. The interface says whenever the customer send email to the email ID, the predefined email ID, this class will fire, and whatever the email content and whatever the address of the emails, everything will be received in this argument automatically. Okay, everything will be received in this object of inbound email class. Okay, object of inbound envelope. Okay, the to address and from address can be referred here, and all the content, the parameters of the email. Okay, the body, subject, attachments, those things you can process with the help of this object. Okay, so basically this is a class, this is an instance. Class, instance. So when you say class and instance, you may have an instance methods for this class, right? Using those instance methods, you can get the email parameters, the to address, from address, attachments, subject. Okay, so within your Apex, so these are Apex environment, right? So then using the instance methods, I can get every value of, right? I can get the CC address, I can get the from address, I can get the subject. So where I will store the subject, the string I can store here. Okay, because when the user send email to the email ID, this class is going to execute it automatically. Then using the instance methods of this class, I can process every parameters of the email and get into my Apex environment. You will follow this? Okay, suppose I like to create a case record. So what you will do, ma? Case so I can directly store into subject of the case. Okay, I get the plain text body. I get the body. So these are the parameters belong to this a class. So just referring that and get all the subject, email, text, etc. Okay, so origin. So this hard coded value I give. So whatever the mandatory values, then finally I'm going to insert the case.
Ranjit, I have a question. Where do you
Okay.
set this
See,
email in the application? Like when all the emails coming to this, so probably this should be set at the system level, correct?
yeah, we are not completed the implementation yet. Let me give
Okay.
more details.
Okay.
Okay, right. We are just working on defining the class. We are in the just the first step of the implementation. Okay, right. So the return type is basically messaging.inbound email result. So this is a system defined interface, system defined method. We are providing implementation. So that's a rule, for any class implementing the interface. We need to provide a body for the method. That's what we are doing now. Okay, so the method is return type is inbound email result. So, right, I'm just creating an instance. So this is what we need to return. Okay, the method return type is string. We need to return the string, right? The method returns integer. We need to return integer. What is the return type of this method? Inbound email result. Okay, so this is system defined method and return type. Okay, what is the use of this result? The result, okay, the result instance belongs to this class, right? That's a class type. Return type is basically inbound email result. Okay, so it has parameters result dot message result dot success. When the case is inserted successfully, we explicitly pass true here. Okay, right. So what I'm going to do is in here, I'm just going to include this in a try catch block. I think the alignment is not properly working. Yes, right. Try catch block. If it is successful, then we pass explicitly a boolean variable to this success, a variable in the class inbound email result to true. Okay, if any exception, then we are going to explicitly pass here false. Okay, when you explicitly set the false here, then what will happen? Email is not processed. Some message I can set in this parameter of this class. So what happens when you explicitly set it false? The message will be returned to the sender. A message will be returned to the sender because, okay, to the system we explicitly specify the email is not successfully processed. When you do this, when you set this parameter, this is actually optional. Actually, this is optional. It's enough you just return the result of inbound email result. But when you set this variable explicitly, then the email system which process the email will come to know its process is not processed successfully. Then what message we need to return to the sender? So that message you're going to set it in this parameter. If you don't set this explicitly, okay, if the email failed, the sender will not get notified. Okay, to do that, we explicitly set this parameter a success equal to true or false. Got me? Right. So this is a one step we did. what is the next step? When this Apex code will fire? Okay, so that's the question. When this Apex code will fire? The Apex code will fire only when customer send email to an email ID. Okay, that email ID is the one we are going to generate in the next step. That email ID we need to generate. We are not going to generate a short email ID like this. We cannot generate the complete email ID like this. We have only option to choose the local part of your email ID. Okay, every email will take, suppose you take sfdcmeet@gmail.com. Okay, so the email as a local part at the domain. So these together consist of your email, right? The local part and domain. So we are going to generate this email ID. In step 2, we are going to generate. So when you generate, only local part we can choose. The rest of the domain will be suffixed by the Salesforce automatically. Okay, that domain suffix is going to be a lengthy email alphanumeric domain name. A lengthy alphanumeric domain name. Okay, so we'll see an example. So it will be looking like this. Okay, it's more or less look like this. So we just have the option to choose a local part. So this will be suffixed by the system. Okay, and when you generate this, what you will do? Generate the email ID by linking the inbound by linking the class that implements the interface. Which interface? Messaging.inbound email handler. So that's how we are making the an integration between the email and the class. So this is an email ID we are going to generate. Okay, the step is called generate email service. Your Gmail is an email service, right? Your Outlook is an email service. Similarly, we are going to generate our own email service by referring our inbound email class with this email ID. So now these two has some connectivity. So what happens now? Any email you send to this address, this email class will be automatically executed. Any email you will send to this address, that email class will be automatically executed. Okay, so we are going to send email to this ID. Okay, this email ID is not the one we are going to share with the customer. So rather, what we will do, we are going to use this as a routing address. We are going to use this as a routing address. When customers send email to a support email ID, okay, then a network admin, right? Yes, a network admin will map this email ID with this email ID. So any email sent to this ID will automatically routed to this address. So any email received to this address, automatically my class will be executed. When my class executed, what happens? I process the content of the email, and whatever I do within my Apex class. So how this class will fire? Because we are going to generate the email service by referring that class, which implements the interface inbound email handler. And finally, once you are able to generate the email ID, email service, then that will be mapped with your actual support email ID or something. Okay, so this is an example. You take a support email ID, right? The purpose can be anything. So you will map with this ID. So our email service is going to behave as a routing address. Is clear to all of you? Right? I think Vijay asked this question, right? So you clear to all of you? So what happens now? When the class and the generated email routing address, okay, are related to each other. So what happens? So automatically when a customer send email, when any email received to the routing address, automatically the parameters of the emails and address, everything will sit into the respective argument, and we can process that arguments by referring the methods or parameters belong to these classes. Okay, then you write your Apex class. So the first you write the Apex class, then you are going to generate the email ID. People clear with this?
Ranjit sir, I have one quick question.
Go ahead quickly.
In the response of that email which we received from the customer, we are sending that we have received kind of acknowledgement, right? So it's a inbound and outbound both together we are creating.
No, I'm just explaining only the inbound email service.
No, but you said that the customer will be notified by the acknowledgement that email is received successful or process. So that acknowledgement is come under.
That's not the email. That's not the email. We are not going to send. It's a system response is generated by this email service. The outbound email service is a different one. Okay, that we are going to see it later.
All right. So how that system generated information will be notified with the sender?
How that notified means it's a system defined process, ma. When any email
So,
fails, when you explicitly mention is false, that will be triggered. How we are getting any outbound any email you are sending from your? Can you put mute? So much disturbance. Can you put mute, Ahmed? Yes. See, you send any email to the incorrect email address to your any person, you get a failure, right? Failure delivery message. So that's a kind of process. Okay, that's a kind of process this will do. Okay, so this is an optional one, but what is the main part of the inbound email service? How to receive the email by generating the email service, and how to process the email content. So that's what we are trying to show here. And this is an optional one where you made it false and some message. So that's a failure message. It triggered by the system to the person who from address of the email, whoever sent email to this routing address. So automatically it goes. Okay.
sir, one more
Right.
quick question.
So go ahead.
Suppose this email service once we set up, so all the customer who are interested to sell email, that will be work for
See,
everyone.
Ahmed, hold on. Let me complete. Let me generate the email ID. Okay, we are in the mid of the session, mid of the topic. Okay, let me complete this. We'll have a question at the end. Right. So step one, step two. We are going to generate the email ID now. Setup. Develop email services. New email service. Okay. Right. Support routing. So there's a place to select the class which implements the inbound email handler interface. Okay, right. And there are some parameters. You can just leave it default, or else you can choose the respective things. Okay, which takes less priority, but you can choose this. Whether my email that going to be received process this class can have the attachments. Yes, accept the attachment either in text or binary format. Okay, and some advanced email settings where if you select these, some of the emails which doesn't respect the email protocols might be rejected. Okay, these are all email process basically. If you might have noticed some of the emails goes to your spam, right? We know the reason. Okay, so that kind of advanced security setting, if you like to implement, you can enable this, right? So rest of things like or email limit exception and unauthentication, whether it's email reaches a limit, what is the limit, okay, right. People just give me just 5 minutes break, we'll continue this. Just 5 minutes break, we'll continue this, okay, fine. So meantime, right, you can just refer and implement in your org. I just keep this screen open, fine.
This conference will now be recorded.
See, we are discussing about okay, the main important part of the inbound email. Inbound email, the significant part is basically generating the email address and the class, which that implements the interface and how to process the email subject. Okay, right. So this takes the less priority, these things. Okay, I don't want to spend more time on this. Just setting the explicit parameters, success or true. Even if you don't specify, the content will be processed. Okay, if any failure, then you are making this false. So to let the system know, okay, the message is not processed successfully. So any further action needs to be taken. Okay, now we are generating the email address. How we are generating it? Develop email services. Okay, because we can create n number of email services. Okay, so I'm just giving some name and whether attachment needs to be processed and whether email should only be accepted from defined email ID, not for every email ID. Okay, some cases an agent will send email to the will send email to the support email ID, not everyone. Okay, you call the customer care and customer care person draft the email as per the customer customer comment, whatever the customer queries raised by customer. So the agent will draft the email and send to the routing address. So in that case, the email will only be received from the agent support email ID. So I give that email ID. Else, every email received to this email ID, we can process the email in the Apex. Else, only accept email from only respective email ID. Then we'll go with accept email from only this ID. Okay, list of emails that can be received. Right, and in case if now like to convert the text to binary. Okay, if you have a large volume of data in the form of text, then convert into binary will make your the attachment will take only less size compared to sending it as an text format. Okay, and there are some failure messages, right? So there is a limit. We'll discuss about this limit later. When the limit per day limit is reached, then whether I need to discard or bounce or else requeue to the next day. So those are the things, the limits you have to set here. What is the deactivated email service action, deactivated email address action? When the address is not working, what should happen? Whether discard or bounce back to the sender itself. So those things. When email failed, then we need to reroute the address to the some, say for example, any email processing email is failed, then reroute the error messages to the some dedicated group working on that the failure things. Okay, reprocess the email again. So those things, and these are optional. So everything else is optional. Okay, the mandatory things is name, you choose the Apex class. Okay, then save. We are not generated email address yet. We are not generated email service yet. We have to generate the email service now. So this is where we are going to generate this email service. Click. So now we are going to generate email address name. Okay, right. So we have only specified a local part of the email. A Salesforce assigns a domain part. The Salesforce assign the domain part. And who is the context user? What is the context user basically? The context user is a user who is under context. It means the case record will be created from the Apex, right? Then who is going to be the owner of the case? So who is the context user? So that's going to be determined by this text box. Okay, so nothing but you are going to choose a user. It's going to look up into user object. Okay, so normally it's going to be a the person. Now administrator is going to be the person. Then click save. Okay, sorry, just a name. Okay, address. I name it like a capital HR or something, and save. So what is this? We are going to get the email ID like this, right? So what happens in actual cases? This going to behave as a routing address. This is going to behave as a routing address. So this will be mapped with a short email ID. So that mapping we are not going to do now. That mapping is basically it's a task of your admin, network admin. Now we are going to test this. We are going to directly send email to this ID and verify this whether we are able to create the case record or not. We are going to directly send email to this ID and verify whether we are able to create the case record or not. I put that routing address directly here. Some questions, okay, some questions the customer is going to ask to the company, to this support email ID. Basically we are going with the routing address here, but normally sending email to the support and that will be routed to this ID. So this email is going to behave as a routing address. Okay, right? So what is the expected output? It should have been created the case record, because the email services has been generated by referring this class. So this class will be automatically submitted. Okay, that will create a case record in my case object. Am I right? Okay, that should have created a case record. It has been created in the body, and whatever we have processed as per the Apex process. Okay, we are able to create a case record. So this is a kind of example implementation we do with the help of inbound email service. Okay, right. In case I would like to create the case record for the existing contact. So how the contact is being identified? The contact is being identified with the help of email ID. Okay, every contact may have unique email ID, right? So I'm going to locate a contact based on email ID. So what email ID? Whatever email ID, whatever email, the from email ID. Okay, from the email ID, we are going to get the email ID, and then we'll search we insert the contact as well. Okay, in this step, basically, we take a different example. Basically, okay, this is scenarios. You can take this scenario example to to convert for to map it for any type of requirement. Okay, so this example is trying to show how to get the from address and create a contact, and if the email has any attachment, how to process the attachment. So this is an example will show you how to process the attachment as well from the email ID. Okay, I said we have two objects here, right? So these classes contains different methods using which we can process the content of the email and attachments, everything. Okay, so if you just go with, you got it? There is a parameter called a binary attachment, right? If you like to, in detail, you would like to see what are the methods, parameters available in this class. Okay, I go to that respective class in my developer guide. So binary attachments. So what is this method? The method is basically, the method is return type is inbound binary attachment. Okay, when you go with this method, email dot binary attachment, when you go with this, okay, then when you do like this, when you do this parameter, a list of binary attachments, okay, so this is going to return, okay, this return type is basically inbound email binary attachments, an array. So when a customer send email to the email ID routing address, they may send one attachments or multiple attachments. They may send one attachments or multiple attachments. So we are going to iterate this. Okay, suppose a customer send 5 attachments, then I'm going to get a 5 attachments from this attachment variable. So we are going to get, for every iteration, I'm just refer the first attachment and get the file name. So where is this file name and body come from? So this a parameter belongs to this class. If you go here, so what is this? I get the file name, I get the body. I get the file name, I get the body. We will follow this. So for every attachments, okay, it's array basically. So that's the reason we iterate this array, and for every one single element, we are going to now refer the file name and body and move into a standard object called attachment. Okay, so what is a standard object? What is standard object? Every object, you have attachment related list, right? When you attach any attachment here, for example, I'm attaching some document to the case record. I do like this, okay, and attach and click done. So attachment is attached. So how this attachment is related to this case record? Okay, so this going to insert a row into the standard object called attachment with a parent ID, with the parent ID field as the ID of the case record. Okay, the attachment is inserted. So this attachment object is a standard object which will have a row for different object, So now I inserted a row for case object. So how this a row in the attachment objects is related to case? There is a parent ID field. That parent ID we should pass respective record ID. Okay, so attachment is a common standard object which is going to accept attachment for every different object. Okay, so the respective parent ID field, relationship field is nothing but parent ID. So similarly here in my inbound email class, I process all the attachments. It may have one or multiple, and create an instance inside. Okay, so because we are going to insert a row here, right? A file name and the body. So body is going to be a binary format. That's it. Okay, so get the body and give some file name and insert the attachment. So now the attachment will be inserted to this contact. Okay, now the question is how we are going to create the contact. The creating contact is nothing but, okay, the from address we are going to get from the name, the from name we are going to get the first name, last name is mandatory, right? And how we are going to get the address? The address will be in the envelope part. Okay, envelope in your post, right? In your postal, envelope means your addresses, and email is the content of the email. So using from the envelope, I get the from address and take that address value as an email for your contact. And from name is basically, okay, the from name is basically, it may have a, whenever you see the emails, you see like a first name and last name all together, come in the form of with a space, right? With a space, Ranjit Krishnan, Ranjit the first name, Krishna is the last name. So with the space delimiter, we are going to process the email. Basically, email dot from name is going to return a string. From the string, we are going to use a substring function. Okay, we are going to use a substring function. This is just a substring, things actually. This is not your inbound email thing. This is just Apex. How do you process the string? Okay, from the name, and using the substring method. Okay, using the substring method, I need the index whenever the space occurs. Okay, for example, the from name is Ranjit space Krishnan. So what I need now, I need only Ranjit. So when the space, get that index from 0 to what is the last character I need to take from this name. The substring function is to take a part of the string from the, okay, a part of the string from the defined string here. Name is having a Ranjit Krishnan. So from the 0 location till here, get it. And from the, then how we are going to get the last name? So last name is nothing but I don't specify anything here. Then get me the, from the email, get index of, right, after the index 0, after the index space, okay, wherever the index space occurs, from there get the total string till to the end. But here I given the end and starting position. This is optional. Basically this is optional. If you don't specify, okay, if you don't specify, just give the the last character from where needs to be started, from the starting text to ending text. Get all the substring, get all the part of the string. So basically substring basically work like this. Okay, start index, that's it. From the start index till the end of the string, it will be it will be extracted and stored into another string. It going to return, substring is going to return the value from the starting index to the end. If you specify the end optionally, then till to that character it will be substring. That's it. That's what the function is given here. Okay, you will follow this. So that's what is given here in this example. Okay, right, you got what is how to attach the, how to process the attachment, all of you? Right, so these are notes, it's given to how to create the email service. Okay, Right. Everyone is clear with this process? This is basically a substring function. Substring function which takes the character, whatever character you mentioned here. Okay. Substring is just accept the position of the index in the character. Each it's basically start from 0, right? Index 0, your character A placed in the index 1, like this goes, right? So substring basically extract the number of characters as specified by this index from the source string. Source string is basically name. From the name, get me the from the first name, like that. Okay, that's it. These things basically email.binary attachment is going to return an array of attachments, binary attachments. So we iterate this. When you are going to iterate this, only if the email contains any attachment. So we are going with the size method because it's a list or array. The size method will work. Okay, and if it's not equal to null or size is greater than 0, then we process the attachment and insert that attachment into attachment object. The attachment is a generic object which will accept the attachment. Okay, so now we are going to attach into the contact for the contact record. So whatever the contact we inserted. People could do this. Okay, email sent. So contact must be created. First thing, the contact must be created. So there are 33 contacts already there. Okay. Oh my God, yes, you're right. We need to You need to connect this, right? So that's yes, that's a important part. We create the email, but we need to create the email service as well. Am I right? If you're not going with a different email service, so at least I have to edit this email ID. Okay, I have to modify this. I have to connect with the different. Okay, so this is for your uh, new candidate creation. Am I right? So this you have to connect. An oversight, I did that. An oversight, I did that. I should not. I had to go with different email service. Go with different email service. Okay. Okay, new contact. Save. It's supposed to work now. Am I right? It's supposed to work now. So I have attachment as well. Attachment and sending this. Right? So we should have created a contact. We should have created the contact, and an attachment must be inserted. Follow this. Right. You got it? A contact is inserted. Okay. With the space separated, the first name and last name has been valued, and the attachment has been inserted here. I'm able to process attachment. If you insert multiple attachments, right? The multiple attachments must be processed because we process in a loop. We process in a loop. We'll follow this. It's good, all of
Clear,
you.
sir.
Okay.
Clear, sir. Yeah.
Right. The outbound email service will continue tomorrow. The outbound email service is an important email part. We'll continue tomorrow. I'll upload these notes for you guys.
Ranjit sir, can you walk through that Apex code once quickly, if possible?
Yeah, 1 minute. So listen, it's just a two-step you need to follow. Okay, one is you write a class and implement the interface inbound email handler. You write a class and implement interface inbound email handler. The interface has a method called inbound email with a two argument, a two object of a predefined class inbound email and inbound envelope. And the return type is going to be inbound email result. Okay, so, and this is a first step, right? Then we create a email service. We create email service by going to the email service option, and we generate the email service. So this is an email service. When you generate, you are going to choose the inbound class, the class that implement the interface. So it means whatever the email ID you are going to generate, to that email ID, any message is sent, any message is received, this Apex code will be automatically, this method will be automatically submitted. Okay, this method will be automatically submitted. So what happens when you submit this method? The logic will be executed. So what is our objective? Whenever a customer send email to this email address, email service, then process the email content and create the case record. So how to process? Whenever the customer send email to the routing address, what we generated, automatically the email content will sit here and all the envelope details will sit here. So these are the object of the class, right? The class contains the parameter and methods to process your email and the envelope. You process this, and then you create the case record. So just an example to create case record. Okay, and the return type is basically a class type called inbound email result. So we explicitly, set this, return this result. So that's a process. That's a return type of this email. Okay, that's how the system will process your email. Okay, so you need not just go deep into this, how this process getting done. So our objective is to process the email content. So that's being done. Okay, how to process the attachment? So again, this class contains the methods to process the attachments. So I also shown you how to walk through the methods, right? So we have, okay, we have a inbound email class, okay, which has the properties like this. These are the properties we used, right? We get there are a lot of properties here. Okay, plain text body, the subject. You only like to process text attachments, you can process text attachment. Okay, and even you can also get the set the reply to email ID as well. Email, which one is reply parent? Okay, contains reply incoming email, right? So incoming email, you can also reply back, reply to, right? And there are different parameters, but we took only important parameters, like okay, to create the case record, we took subject and plain text body. To create the contact, we took first name, last name, and email address from the envelope. So create the contact and process attachment. When you attach the attachment, you need to attach for a respective object, how it is the parent ID field. Okay, it's clear to all of you? Okay, let's continue with the outbound message, outbound email service tomorrow.
Ranjit,
Yeah.
so this email is related to case, so we used a case object, right? If it is an inquiry, then we can use some other object as well, right?
It is your apex. It is your apex. You have freedom to write any type of logic.
No. I'm saying that object which we use in this email, we use case object, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. We use one example case, another example contact, but we can process any type of, we can write any type of logic. It is up to you how do you process your email content. It is your apex environment. You can write your own business logic. But the example you have taken is a case and contact. That's it.
And this email service will be enabled for all the customer who are sending to that particular email ID, right? Email.
Yes, that's what we made it only accept from this email ID, or else anyone can send email to that routing address.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Okay then. See you all tomorrow.